Since the All-Star break, Jayson Tatum has been good. Scratch that, he's been downright amazing. But I'm not sure we know exactly how good Tatum has been. And that's not to say his season wasn't spectacular before the All-Star break, but afterwards, let's just say he leveled up. On a per-game basis, post-break Tatum has been averaging 34 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 5 steals per game. And he's doing it with absurd efficiency, 50 from the field, 50 from 3, and 82% from the free throw line. Don't sleep on the touch. I mean, free throws are supposed to be easy points, but how many bad free throw shooters have we seen over the years? I rest my case. But to be blunt, Tatum looks like the NBA's next big superstar, and if you blank, you might miss his ascension to the top. The NBA is interesting because the true definition of superstar varies from person to person. And while we all may not be able to agree on a true superstar definition, I don't think it matters. Because I think we can all agree on one thing. If Tatum's not there yet, he's well on his way. And he just might be a lot closer than you think. As fans, I think some of us take the rise of these star players for granted. There's beauty in the process and steps shouldn't be skipped. Everybody's on their own timeline, everybody's doing their own thing. Some players are ready for the spotlight from the get-go, and they show brilliant flashes, but others, it may take some time. Becoming one of the NBA's next big things is a daunting process. It puts a giant target on not only you, but your entire team's back. All of a sudden, on a nightly basis, players are coming out and trying to get the best of you. You're the one being asked to carry the load on offense. Teams are shifting entire defensive schemes to try and stop you. The narrative shifts. It's like at a point, you can get good. You can get so good that people just get sick and tired of liking you or the fact that you're winning. Before the Warriors were the best modern team in NBA history, they were one of the most fun and easy teams to root for. They went from we believe to absolute dominance. But the We Believe Warriors, they fought, and they fought hard every night. A fast-paced style of basketball that helped turn the NBA into what we know today. Sellout crowd after sellout crowd. The Warriors were simply electric. Let's fast forward a little bit to the backcourt of Steph Curry and Monte Ellis. Everybody still loved the Warriors, and I mean, how could you not? The team hadn't won yet, and I mean, Stephen Curry and Monte, they were pretty ridiculous together. Explosive scoring backcourt. And I mean, the rest of the team, they weren't too bad themselves. And then 2015 happened. Pandemonium broke loose. Curry got his first championship, his first MVP. The Warriors would become so good, and Stephen Curry, he would elevate his game to new heights. This once loved team became one of the most hated teams in the entire NBA. My point? I'll make that shortly. Back in 2006, Kobe Bryant was one of the most feared players in the entire NBA because people knew what Kobe was capable of. That target, it was on his back. Kobe always brought out the best in competitive nature versus anybody he ever played against. Kobe said the negativity was funny because it always provoked him. It's fun. But you see, this is the mentality you have to have. This is the mentality you need to truly become one of the best players in the NBA. The negativity, you can't let it affect you negatively. You have to use it. You have to let that fuel your fire. And that's what the best do. They spend hours upon hours upon hours in the gym, not to prove the haters wrong, but more so to prove themselves right. Look at Bron, age 35 season. He was supposed to be washed, or so that'd be the story if he let them tell it. You see, you can write your own book. You can tell your own story. I know to some people this is going to sound like a reach, but when I watch Jayson Tatum play, I see a lot of similarities between him and the way Kobe Bryant approached the game of basketball. You see, Kobe Bryant was Jayson Tatum's favorite player. That's what he grew up around. That's what he knew. It was all Kobe Bryant. And he cites Kobe as a major reason that he got into the game of basketball. Tatum says that everything Kobe did, how he worked, his compassion, his drive, his work ethic to be the best, it just made me fall in love with him and the game. I loved everything about him, the way he carried himself. He was special. And in Tatum's third season, He's striving to be special in his own way. The Boston Celtics are one of the most storied franchises in NBA history. It's ironic because so are the Los Angeles Lakers. Tatum's and Kobe's career, while they have similarities, they do have their differences. Tatum came to a team ready to compete for everything out of Duke. Tatum averaged 14 points his rookie season, and the Celtics, they knew what they were getting when they got Jayson Tatum. They actually traded down, and they passed on Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball. Markelle Fultz and Lonzo Ball have had very up and down careers so far, but it both seems like they're finally in spots to where they can be successful. But it's safe to say that both of these players, they're just not touching the level that Jayson Tatum is currently on. The 14 points Tatum averaged his rookie season went well beyond the box score. If you actually watched him play, you could see that he had the potential to be a big-time player. 48% from the field and 43% from deep. This was from a rookie. A rookie, guys. We're talking about a rookie here. But of course, Tatum wasn't just any rookie, and he made that known with an Eastern Conference Finals dunk that shocked everybody in the building, including one of the best players to ever play the game of basketball, LeBron James. If the dunk didn't shock LeBron, then maybe the bump did. Tatum was ready for the moment, and while the Celtics lost in 7 games, it wasn't because of Jayson Tatum. Tatum's second year was a very interesting one. Kyrie Irving arrives from Cleveland, and Kyrie wanted to be the guy. And I don't blame Kyrie for it one bit. How could you know exactly how good you are at something if you never try? Kyrie tested his limits, and the Celtics thing, it just didn't work out. And don't get it confused, I'm not trying to paint Kyrie as the bad guy. I think he's just misunderstood. He wasn't ready to take a step back, and maybe Tatum wasn't ready to take a step forward. In Tatum's second season, he was the worst isolation player in the NBA on a per possession basis. It hurts to say, and it's honestly a shocking stat, but that's the fact. And again, that's not to say Tatum was bad or he was going to be bad, but something had to give. The good looks that Tatum was used to working for, he wasn't getting those anymore. He was taking a lot of mid-range jumpers, deep mid-ranges at that, and isolation twos. We hop to Tatum's third season, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. The Celtics spent so much time searching for a superstar. Little did they know that they had one all along. Tatum has been so good that it has overshadowed how amazing Jaylen Brown has been this season. This duo is not only one of the best defensive duos in the league at the wing position, but they are also one of the best offensive duos. Now, what I'm trying to tell you guys is that under 25, you would be hard pressed to find 2 players more in sync than Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum. You guys may remember my small ball video. I talked about the Houston Rockets and how they were changing the game with their approach. Well, the Celtics, they have their own version of small ball, but the difference is that the Celtics are currently the 3rd best defensive team in the entire NBA, and they're doing it while having the versatility to switch almost every position. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Daniel Theis, Jayson Tatum. Theis has been a baller, the 8th best defensive center in the league currently, but not only on defense, he provides the spacing that Tatum needs to attack the basket. You see, since coming into the league, Tatum is bulked up and it's showing in his game. He's using his strength, his speed, and his length to attack the basket and get good looks. Tatum's creativity not only around the basket, but with the ball has become second to none. And when your bag becomes this big, you become a tough cover. Because not only can Tatum punish players contesting at the rim, but he can give you a bucket contested or not. This season, Tatum is averaging more drives per game than Giannis Antetokounmpo. And he's only 1.2 drives a game behind Ben Simmons, the guy that doesn't shoot threes. Yes, I'm talking about that Ben Simmons. Slowing down on the deep too has not only increased Tatum's scoring efficiency, it's also allowed Tatum to torch defenses from the three-point line. He's been flaming hot from deep. February, Tatum shot 50% from behind the arc, taking over 8 threes a game. Speaking of February, Tatum is averaging 31 points, 7.5 rebounds a game, and 3 assists. But you have to look at how Jayson Tatum is scoring. This is a different Tatum than the player we saw last season. This is somebody that was demanding the ball against Kawhi Leonard. Versus the Clippers, not only was he demanding the ball against Kawhi, but he was the one that slowed him down, forcing Kawhi to shoot 1 of 7 the remainder of the game. Versus the Lakers, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum gave Anthony Davis problems. Jaylen Brown allowed the Celtics defensive versatility and the ability to remain competitive on the glass. But Jayson Tatum brings the same thing to the table. Tatum left LA with 41 points and 5 boards and an L. But while the Celtics lost, that's only their second loss in their last 15 games. Kemba Walker hasn't played since the All-Star break. Can anybody say contenders? We've seen players time and time again, all of the talent, but none of the production. Kevin Durant said himself, hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. But what happens when you have players like Kobe, like Tatum, like Kevin Durant with all of the talent and all of the work? 31 points a game in February, 3rd in the NBA in real defensive plus minus. Tatum is a legit threat for an all-NBA defensive team. It's still surreal because earlier in the season, you could say that the Celtics' best player was arguably Jaylen Brown. Remember the Jimmy Butler comparisons Jaylen Brown got? Remember the training with Jimmy Butler? It's all coming to fruition. A lot of people thought that the Celtics would miss Al Horford. A lot of people thought that Kemba Walker would be a questionable fit. High-volume chucker that doesn't care about winning. Funny, because Kemba's taking the small step back to let Jayson Tatum come into his own. The Celtics have a long line of outstanding talent and great players. Players who are some of the best players of all time. With the 3rd overall pick in the 2017 NBA Draft, the Boston Celtics would select Jayson Tatum. And just like that, a legacy was born. Yo, be sure to click the video on the screen right now, guys. Much more content coming soon. It's incredibly dope. Be sure to subscribe, notice on, and I'm out.